Welcome to Lights On with Conrad. I'm your host, and today we are going to cover the fifth story of the Bible, which is primarily about Jacob and Esau. So, Jacob and Esau are the sons of Isaac, who's the son of Abraham, who we found out earlier is actually related to Noah from Noah and the Ark, who was actually related to Adam and Eve. So, again, these are all stories in the Bible, but they're all actually related. It's all actually one continuously long family tree. And so let's get into Jacob and Esau, the two sons of Isaac. So the story goes that Jacob was actually born kind of first, but Esau was born first. So in the Bible it says that Jacob stuck his hand out of the womb first, put it back in, then Esau was born, and then Jacob was born shortly thereafter. And so we already have the story of Cain and Abel, but this is another story of brothers being contentious with each other and being extremely competitive. And where we can see things get a little weird is when so Esau's the oldest, Jacob is younger, and so Esau's supposed to get all of the many inheritances from his father Isaac as the firstborn. And so the first story where we have a real big problem is Esau's in the Bible, he's a manly, hairy, outgoing, likes to be outside. He loves hunting. He loves, I think they say, the bush. So he's an outdoors guy. Jacob is known in the Bible, he's known for being smaller, not hairy, and just the opposite of Esau. Whatever that means, Esau's this way, Jacob's this way. Well, one day Esau comes in from a hunt or from doing stuff outside, and he says, "I'm really hungry." And Jacob basically doesn't care, and Esau says, Jacob says, "I will only make you food if you give me your birthright," which is being the oldest child of Isaac. And then Esau says, "What's that worth to me? Give me the meal." And so in one meal, Jacob gets his older brother Esau to give up his birthright. So that happens. Then we'll just jump to Isaac, their father, is about to die. He's on his deathbed towards the very end, and he wants to give all of his blessings to his oldest son Esau. So he tells his oldest son Esau, "Why don't you get me some really good game or an animal and come make me a stew?" Well, the Bible says that within a few minutes, Jacob shows up because of his mother. His mother wanted Jacob to get all the blessings. So his mother overheard that. She tells Jacob, and then Jacob goes and makes the stew for his father. The father is blind, and I said he was on his deathbed. He's basically on his way out, and he can tell that there's a difference in the voice, and he goes, "How did you get this game so fast? How did you kill this animal and prepare me the stew so fast?" And so his father knows, he tells him, like, "Don't play me." Like, I mean, he knows that something's going on. And so long story short, Jacob ends up putting a lot of fake arm hair on his arm, and he tries to make his voice sound deeper. And in the end, he ends up getting all of the blessings from Isaac. And so it's very figurative, but when Isaac gives all his blessings to Jacob, it's done in a way so that all of the blessings were given to Jacob, and basically none of them were given to Esau, even though Jacob lied to his father about being Esau, and his wife lied to Isaac. She also lied so that Jacob could end up getting all of the blessings. Now, Isaac tries to give Esau some of the blessings, but he ends up being unable to. And so those two acts, those two things end up breeding so much resentment that Esau is going to kill his brother Jacob. And so Jacob ends up having to flee, and he just leaves town for a long time. And so, following the three themes, we're going to get into the story a little bit more, but there's the four themes. This one does have jealousy. The first one is faith. Do they have faith? Well, they have faith because their father has faith, but we don't really know how much. Do they have a fear of God? I would say Jacob definitely lacks some of that fear of God because he wants to supersede Esau's birth position, and then he lies to his father about being Esau, and even though he's not Esau, he acts like him and takes all of his blessings. So this makes Esau so angry that he's gonna go and kill him. But the themes, the fear of God, I don't know if Jacob has very much fear of God. And then the third theme is vast rewards or death. So we'll get into this one. So Jacob flees, and then he finds this girl that he really likes, and her name is Rachel. She's really beautiful, and he asks for her hand to her father. And then what her father ends up doing is saying, you have to work for me for 7 years. And Jacob says, your daughter's worth it, so I'll do it. At the 7th year, he actually ends up giving him his oldest daughter, who is not Rachel, and he ends up, basically he didn't want the oldest daughter, he wanted Rachel, but the father says, it's not our custom to give away our younger daughters and not our older daughters, and so he has to take the older daughter. Then he says, yeah, but I wanted Rachel. And so the father says, well, then you'll have to work another 7 years. And so going back to the vast rewards or death, well, he didn't get the girl he wanted. He had to wait. He ended up having to work 14 years to get the girl he wanted. And so I would say that is definitely a form of punishment from God. So the jealousy. So 14 years pass. There may have been more or less time, but 14 years pass, and then Jacob accrues a lot of land, a lot of money, a lot of sheep, and then he basically wants to make things right with his older brother, and so he ends up sending Esau a lot of gifts. He ends up sending him money, sheep, and then Esau is on the other side, and he says, I don't need your money. I have my own money, and I actually have a lot. And so Jacob says, take it anyway. I want to make it right to you. And he actually does go and apologize to him. And then they end up living, from what we can tell, they end up living pretty happily ever after together after all of the jealousy runs its course. And of course, after they spend about 14 years apart, then they come back and get together. And so this jealousy, Jacob being the younger brother, but Esau is supposed to get all the blessings from that was the problem. And rather than, Jacob could have killed him the way Cain killed Abel, but rather than killing him, he went about it a different way. And in the end, the term Israel is given by God to Jacob. And so Jacob ends up being more favored as the younger brother. He ends up being called Israel, and then in the whole faith, it ends up being that Esau gets superseded, and the three pillars of faith end up being Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And so we don't even hear Esau. So you can just imagine, this is younger brother beating older brother. And we kind of see this curse repeated over and over and over, where the older brother is extremely jealous of younger brothers. And there's just a lot of issues that come from this. But this is the second one, and they don't end up killing each other, and they actually can work things out. But that is the story of Jacob and Esau.